clean feels good. Use as directed on hard, non-porous surfaces.
When you're ready to go back in the day,
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
check out the all-new Throwbacks 101.1.
This is how we do it. Allow me to introduce myself.
Asheville's classic hip-hop and R&B.
Come on.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Live from the Ingalls Studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell!
Let the big dog eat. Let him on the field.
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and the Sportsocracy. Heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app.
Hi, my name is Tank Spencer.
I don't know why. I started giving out some old numbers there, and it wasn't good. It would not have been good. 92.9 FM.
Just at the right station.
Yeah.
That always helps.
880 AM, 1400, everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. You can see us live in the Ingalls studio on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link. Subscribe to the channel. Join us in the chat.
We just got a jam-packed Joe. It's a Power Rankings Tuesday.
It is a Power
I've got a story about a triathlete who defecated at a time you're not supposed to defecate. And we start with a story about a team that defecated on primetime television last night. The Dallas Cowboys! How about them Cowboys?
That team is god-awful.
No, you do not. There's nothing godly about that. That team is Jerry awful, okay? That team is as bad as any team I've seen in the NFL this year.
Cooper Rush at quarterback. Rico Dowdle at running back. And something named a Cavante Turpin.
That is, that's a hard watch. I'm not going to lie to you.
And you can always leave it to, Jerry Jones. He says he's got this thing figured out. He said, now we know what's wrong with this team. It only took 9 games, but now we know what's wrong.
Oh, wait, Jerry said he knows what's wrong with this team?
Yep.
All he had to do was ask me. You suck. That's what's wrong with you. You're terrible. And when I say terrible, I think you hear just bad. All right, you take bad, you fill a hole with 20 pounds of poo, then you dig a little deeper, and that's where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Name me the 5 best players on this team. I started thinking this last night.
The 5 best players on the team?
Not Dak Prescott. He didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Of the team that took the field last night, give me the 5 best talents that you trotted out there.
Well, you got Micah Parsons.
That's 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb's 3 and 5. End of list.
You're not going to give me Jake Ferguson or
Jacob Turd Ferguson probably makes the top 5, and that really kind of proves my point.
Mm-hmm. It's not
because for me, it's you got Micah Parsons. You get to DeMarvion Overshown way faster than you want to. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb on the offensive side. I would argue Cavante Turpin's one of the 5 best players on this team.
Ooh.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to go a little deeper. If Jerry Jones is honestly serious that he wants to win football games, you have to hire a GM too. I don't care who you hire. And I'll be straight up honest with you. If it's Jerry Jones still pulling the strings, I'll mention it. We'll do a segment on it.
Yep.
Hey, it's great that they hired Kellen Moore or whoever they bring in. That'll be it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just lather, rinse, repeat. We've been doing this for so long that now it's I laugh when people say, that's America's team. No, that's not even Texas's team. Ask the Houston Texans, they'll tell you. Their social media team has been trolling you for 16 hours.
It's been 30 years since this was America's team.
You're not just bad, you're a joke. You're not just bad, you're completely irrelevant.
Oh, but they got a flashy stadium. Ain't that fun?
You got a flashy stadium that can't even get the panels right. Hey, you know what? Yeah, well, so I'm going to open the stadium today. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's supposed to be up there, not down here.
So one of the panels fell off the roof last night before the game started.
Yeah. I mean, that's a microcosm of the Dallas Cowboys. We have this beautiful car and there goes the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
That
ceiling,
lug nuts.
The ceiling was no longer the roof last night.
No, last night the
Dallas.
ceiling was the floor because that's where it was.
Oh, it's a Monday night football game where you didn't really get to learn anything because, I mean, we all knew Houston was way better than the Dallas Cowboys. And
oh, no, I learned something.
What'd you learn?
I learned that there is a line of how much bad football I will put myself through.
Okay.
I hit that about halfway through the second quarter last night, and I went, life's too short. I want to go hug my mom, tell those close to me that I love them, and save myself from this disaster of a football game.
Oh, just wait. Thanksgiving's really going to send you over the moon when we have Cooper Rush against Tommy DeVito.
Can I ask a question that I couldn't stop thinking last night?
Sure.
How bad is Trey Lance?
Terrible.
At no point
Awful.
have they ever looked at the mean guy and gone, maybe we should give that youngman a shot.
Nope.
Maybe.
Why? I mean, it's just further proof of the ineptitude, right? Of just the egregious missteps by the Dallas Cowboys. They traded a 4th-round pick for that guy.
Yep.
And they're not using him at all.
Yeah, and refused to.
Is he even practicing? Are they even allow him to dress out for practice?
I don't have an answer to that.
Because, I mean, I guess efficiency-wise, you could look at the stats and say Cooper played better last night than he did the game before. But does that do anything for – I kind of look at this like the New York Giants. What does Drew Lock do for you? Nothing. Tommy, he might give me a little spice. He might give me a headline here or there like he did last year.
Yeah, he's not giving you. He might spice the chicken cutlets. Everybody spice with the gabagool. He's not giving you.
But when you're this bad, I mean, that's the only thing you're shooting for, right?
That's where I'm at with Dallas. Is okay. So just let's be honest here. How much badder? And yes, I did that on purpose. Can Trey Lance be than Cooper Rush? I mean, is he going to come out and go the wrong direction?
Maybe.
Is he going to come out and put his hands under the left tackle?
Didn't he do that when he was in San Francisco?
Is he going to try to hand it off to the official? I mean, how much worse can it be? You throw it 55 times last night. 55 times.
Mean guy.
I can't figure out. And I feel this way about a lot of these teams that are in real bad shape. How do you even come into the office today? How do you even walk into Jerry World today like, morning, Mike? Or does he just walk in and nobody speaks to him?
I'd probably say closer to the latter. I'd probably say it's closer to nobody speaks. It's just silence. It's miserable. Everybody knows what's coming. You're in the midst of a 3-7 season, and nothing is going to change that. There's there's no shuffling on this roster that you could possibly do. There's no lightning rod to be had.
Oh, this season's done. This season's not even worth talking about. I'm looking at next year. What exactly do you think is going to change next year? Because
Coaches.
no coach, and it's just going to be another puppet of Jerry Jones.
Probably.
So what changes? You still have the same mediocre quarterback. You're killed against the salary cap. You still got to pay Micah Parsons, who, I'll be honest with you, at this point, that number would be getting higher by the minute if I was his agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I still look at, it's weird. Go back to the last handful of years. How many draft picks have you missed on aggressively? Mozzie Smith, that was confusing at the time. It's even more confusing now because he's terrible. Luke Schoonmaker. Is that a legit weapon? You used a second-round pick on a guy that's probably your third tight end right now. Just keep doing that. This team is a disaster. I would not trade places with the Dallas Cowboys if I was any other team in the NFL. You're on television all the time. You have a microscope on you all the time. Last night, if that had been the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars, would we have started with the Jaguars? No.
Mm-mm.
We start because it's Dallas. It's an alleged glamour franchise. It's not. You're fictitious. You've been fictitious for a long time. You're masquerading around as something that you're not. And you can put me in a tutu and call me a ballerina. It doesn't change the fact I'm 6'5" and weigh 305 pounds. And that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're the fat guy in the tutu spinning around trying to tell me how graceful they are.
And Jerry's the maestro. Jerry is the conductor of the entire symphony and makes it really difficult. At least in my opinion, it would make it really difficult to be a fan of this team. Especially for the fans that have been around forever. Now, I think about guys like Mike Morgan, who's been a Dallas Cowboys fan since, the 1960s probably. When he was just a wee little man pulling for the Cowboys and, grew up with Roger Staubach and Tom Landry and the whole myth of the Dallas Cowboys as America's team. And now you got to sit through this and have been sitting through this for 30 damn years.
We have breaking news with a team that is every bit as irrelevant as the Dallas Cowboys.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Breaking news from Adam Schefter. More change in New York. The Jets have now fired Joe Douglas.
Oh.
That's brilliant. You know what? As a fan of this team, that's just fantastic. You can't get out of your own way. You can't do anything. You have the most incompetent coaching staff in the history of time. And now you fired the GM. For what? For what purpose? With 6 weeks left in the season, why would you do that? Was probably the smartest guy in the room. And now you fired him. What a complete excrement show the New York football Jets are. Good Lord.
You knew this was coming. The writing was on the wall. When they didn't let him make the choice on Rob Saleh, you knew this was what was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to happen during the season. I didn't know it was going to. What is the purpose of doing this now? All right, be really honest with yourself. Firing Joe Douglas did what exactly? How much of this do you blame him for?
A little. Not a lot. I mean, he built a really talented roster. Mm-hmm. He majorly messed up the quarterback situation there. Like,
what was he supposed to do?
I don't know. Look, I'm not saying that I would have done anything different if I was in his situation, but you can't escape this. Like, you blew a top 3 pick on Zach Wilson, and the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers has turned into probably one of the worst free agent signings in New York history, I would imagine.
It wasn't a free agent signing. It was a trade.
No, excuse me.
Which is worse. We're talking about incompetent franchises with the Dallas Cowboys. The New York Jets are right there. You know, this is a move that you don't see teams make, and there's a reason for that. Because now you got to go through the rest of the year, and who's going to act as the GM? Oh, the assistant GM? Yeah, you fired him last year. Weird. I mean, you've got another one, but we've got a guy that's been in this building for, I would argue, probably the worst 11 weeks in franchise history, which for this team is saying something. And now that's the guy running this team for 6 weeks? What was the purpose of that? Joe Douglas is still really highly thought of in NFL circles because he took a roster that was complete garbage and added Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall and Quinnen Williams, Quincy Williams. I could do this for a really long time. The problem with the New York Jets was not Joe Douglas. And this is really just a microcosm of how unbelievably clueless this ownership group is. You want to blame everybody in this building except you. Woody Johnson, you decided to hire Robert Saleh. Then you unilaterally decided to fire him. You left it with Jeff Ulbrich, who outside of his ability to comb his beard and get the just for men in it, is completely useless. God, I hate this team. I hate this team so much. I heard Mike Greenberg say this the other day, and I went, I've been saying that for 2 months. I've never hated one of my own teams this much.
Yeah.
You don't try. You don't care. Then you get Aaron Ayahuasca up to the podium to go, well, I really feel like we're getting closer to... What was I saying? Thanks, Cheech. This has been fun. I can't wait to lather up and do it again in 2025.
Oh, I know. It's going to be so exciting when Aaron Rodgers makes his decision that he is definitely coming back next year.
Oh,
then
God,
where
I
are
hate
you
this
going to
team.
be?
I wish I could pull for any other team. I wish I didn't love that stupid logo and that stupid franchise as much as I do. This is like having a kid that's like too stupid to breathe, but I have to love you because you're mine. Like, why do you keep doing stupid things every time you open your mouth?
And now the New York Jets are going to turn the GM role over to
Bill Belichick. Let's
Bill
go.
Belichick.
It never happened, but I mean, I'm trying to think of what's the dumbest thing we could do here. Trent Baalke when he gets fired by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There you go. It's a good one.
No, you
He's
want me
made for New
to
York.
tell you as look, I'm a veteran of coaching and GM searches with the Jets because I think I'm on my 11th in 30 years. We'll hire a search firm. We'll interview every heavy hitter you could possibly ever want, and they'll all take better jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get the leftover.
Yeah. We'll get a super chat in the YouTube stream.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money.
Red Sea says, Jeremy, Cardinals fan applications, they're open right now.
I can't.
Come on.
I can't. Florida State did enough for me to bail. Jets haven't.
What will it take? Will it take one more year? Will it take another god-awful year like this? Or
For me to bail out on the Jets?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. No. Let me tell you how that would go. I know how that would go because this is the life and times of Jets fans. The minute I bailed out, they'd win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The minute. I'd hop on the Lions bandwagon, and their plane would get abducted by aliens. And then I'd have to watch the Jets raise a banner that I'm not allowed to enjoy.
Meanwhile,
Have you
Jeremy's
seen that
sitting
video of it's somewhere over in I think it's in China, and it's some monk that just let somebody kick him right in the nethers. Just
I have.
That's the life of a Jets fan. That's wake up every morning, Judy chop, right in the nethers every single day, and it never stops. It's like a perpetual motion machine and kicking me right in the.
Yeah.
I hate this team so much. I hate them all. I want to yell. I want to yell at them. I want to grab Woody Johnson by his ears and just go, "Why do you keep doing stupid things? Why do you keep making me yell at you?"
Joe Douglas fired as the general manager of the New York Jets after really knocking out some drafts. Just historic style.
I mean, the same team that brought you Adam Gase hired I think a really good GM. But no, it's his fault. It's his fault that you brought in Nathaniel Hackett and Robert Saleh and Todd Downing and Keith Carter. And I could keep doing this, but we're getting way too deep for the average fan to care.
Uh-huh. In the end, it all falls on somebody's head, and it's not going to fall on Woody's head.
Well,
Woody's
doing
Johnson.
this. And those of you that are listening to me on radio, you can't see that I'm pointing directly at the camera. What he needs to do is take that finger and go, wee, and put it right on himself, because that's who the problem is.
It's Woody Johnson.
You've been terrible since he bought this team. Terrible. Absolute laughing stock. Trust me, I've been here for every single second of it. I'm so ashamed to wear Jet things that I actually took a piece out of the box. It's been sitting in the passenger seat of the Parks Ford Mobile Studio for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to put it on. I don't want anybody to know I'm a Jets fan. It's like a scarlet letter that says, "All hail your moron king. I spend my Sundays watching the Jets."
You really shouldn't do that for your own sanity. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. It's not good that you torture yourself in that manner each and every week. This team's not worth watching. And now I'm really interested, as I'm sure all of the rest of us non-Jet fans are, just really interested to see how they screw this one up this time. You gonna go find Marty Morningwig and make him your new head coach?
Oh no! Oh, how will the Jets screw this up? This is one of those times that I can't fully let you behind the curtain, but there is a guy they could hire that would be just hilarious. And Tank knows why. It'll probably take him a minute.
Uh-huh.
There's a guy they could hire as the GM that would be hilarious.
Okay.
And then you go to, who is the next coach going to be? Let's just go down the candidates. Ben Johnson would laugh you out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Glenn, that didn't go so well when you left. So I'm going to say he's not going to be in a big hurry to reunite. And frankly, I want anybody that's not a defensive guy. Bobby Slowick. The one that would, Matt Nagy's the one that would be, that would be the most ultimate Jet hire ever. Go get Matt Nagy.
You can't do that.
Oh, they could.
I mean,
they could.
You know, you most certainly could, but you can't do that. You can't turn this over to Matt Nagy after you saw how that went with the Chicago Bears. Here's the thing I always struggle with is, how are you going to bring in the candidate? And how is that job appealing to anybody? It's a revolving door franchise that is forever bashed and trashed, regardless of what decision you make.
Joke ownership in a large city with a huge media and a fan base that is notoriously quick to turn on you.
Mm-hmm.
Life and Times is a fan of the J-E-S-T. Just in the suffering. Please, God, just, you know what? Just shut the doors. All right? Maybe just take a break. Let's not even hire a coach. Frankly, let's not even play next year. Just, we take a year off to really find ourselves. Maybe, travel a little. Have a few experiences that are a lot more fun than this. I need a drink. It's barely noon. I need a drink. The New York Jets made me a raging alcoholic. Thank you. I didn't need any help, but I'm glad you gave it.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is an Overreaction Monday on ESPN Asheville.
Using a Clorox disinfecting wipe to clean that stuck-on sauce from the stove feels like...
Oh, boy. That tickles. Stop.
It feels like coming home to your needy corgi after a long day.
Best part of the day, finally.
With Clorox, clean feels carefree. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
More than 4,500 wildfires burn across North Carolina every year. 99% of these wildfires are the result of human activities like backyard burning and campfires. That means most of our state's wildfires are avoidable. We need your help. 1. Never burn on a dry, windy day or leave your fire unattended. 2. Keep a water source, shovel, rake, and phone nearby. 3. Have a valid burn permit. You are our best defense. Learn more. Visit ncforestservice.gov. ncforestservice.gov.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Celebrate the season with the very best Christmas music ever made with iHeart Christmas. Streaming commercial-free right now on your free iHeartRadio app. From shopping, gathering with friends, or wrapping presents, iHeart Christmas is the perfect soundtrack to your holidays. Listen now commercial-free on your favorite smart speaker and the free iHeartRadio app. Just search Holiday. Free never sounded so good.
This is where it starts. Where your story begins. This is the trail you blaze yourself. And step by step, you get stronger, faster, better. This is where it starts. How will you finish? Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Daniel, a veteran who accompanied law enforcement and other veterans to perform search and rescue operations. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can and kick ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
You know what that leads to.
Nah,
that's one job tag.
Whatever.
Mike on.
Yes. Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville. It is, it's Power Rankings Tuesday. I was going to say Overreaction Monday, but it's not. It's Tuesday.
Because that wasn't an overreaction at all. I actually saw Matthew Hoffman, fellow Jet fan, who was at Colts Jets on Sunday, say there was nothing about that. That was an overreaction.
Mm-hmm. No, it's completely a solid reaction. We've got a question here from Dakota Whitehouse in the YouTube stream. Friendly checkup on both of your opinions on Bo Nix. I remember you both saying he sucked without taking a snap in the NFL. Any update on your thoughts on Bo Nix?
He's winning games. He's doing it in a way that, I'm not going to lie, doesn't really surprise me. It surprises me they beat the bejesus out of the Atlanta Falcons. But, okay, I get more. Bo Nix has officially become like young Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Because I get a ton of questions about him. So let's tackle this while we can. I've never seen such hubris from a quarterback that's beaten 4 teams in the worst division I've ever seen, the Jets and the Raiders. He's 22nd in QBR. He's averaging, 6.4 yards an attempt? He's playing within the confines of an offense, and he's doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
3 years from now, you're going to understand exactly what it is I'm trying to say about Bo Nix, because you're going to be in the same boat that Cleveland was with Baker, that a slew of other teams have been. San Francisco 49ers right now with Brock Purdy, perfect example. He's not an elite quarterback. In my opinion, this is the way I look at quarterbacks, because I know what you're getting ready to say. In the last 25 years, Name me the non-elite quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls. I'll wait. Because it's Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer, and those two had literally historic defenses. Joe Flacco did it one time. Joe Flacco was the best quarterback in the NFL for 4 weeks.
We all know that not every quarterback can go out and win a Super Bowl. If you don't know that, you should know that. I think that'll help with a lot of the delusion that some fan bases feel.
Well, and it's not delusion, it's hope. And I get it. What you're seeing out of Bo Nix, this is what I've said about politics. Depending on how I feel and what I'm trying to convey, I can make something look great or terrible. Bo Nix is winning games with a really good – the defense is playing really well. They run the ball decently at times. He's making some off-schedule plays. He's fine. At the end of the day, you are beating the worst teams in the NFL. I would expect you to do that. Riddle me this. I'm looking at the schedule in front of me. They play the Raiders, the Browns, the Colts, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Chiefs. Rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders are the worst team in the NFL.
Yes.
The Browns are one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL.
Yes.
The Colts, I would say you're punching closer into your weight class. They have Anthony Richardson. You should win all 3 of those games. That'll put you at 9-5. Even if you lose out, you still probably make the playoffs. Tell me the team you expect to beat. All right, if I'm so wrong about Bo Nix, and I understand why fans are saying this. This is a diametric opposition. I am not a fan of the Denver Broncos. I've watched more tape on Bo Nix than any person you've ever met in your entire life. Because I wanted to make sure what I saw in Mobile was accurate, so I literally watched every pass he's ever thrown in college. There's no high side. You can win games. I don't have a problem with you winning games. And if this is what you want to be 9-8, and we get into the playoffs and get drilled by Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes. More power to you. That's not what I want. That's where my problem comes in. Is that what I'm saying is that you're not winning a Super Bowl with that. If I know going in, looking at a guy, you cannot win a Super Bowl with him, that's not a franchise quarterback to me. This is what I've argued, and Tank, you can attest to this. How long have I argued this about how many different quarterbacks? I get taking a swing. Taking a swing, and I said this routinely, I would have taken the swing on J.J. McCarthy over Bo Nix because I didn't know exactly what he was. I know that could end Anthony Richardson bad. Bo Nix was always – I compared him to Baker Mayfield how many times?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're the same guy. And I now look at Denver and Tampa Bay the exact same way. Awesome, you're going to win games, and you're going to go into a wild card game, and who knows, you might even get a win. Once in 5 shots at this. You're not a threat to anything. If you're okay with that, I get why you're saying it. You're going to have to tell me where I'm wrong when I'm literally backing this up with this is analytical data. You want to hear the list of guys that complete that their yards per attempt are less than Bo Nix? Mason Rudolph, Caleb Williams, Andy Dalton, Daniel Jones, Spencer Rattler, Tyler Huntley, Skylar Thompson, Aiden O'Connell, Bryce Young, Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett, Cooper Rush, Mac Jones. That's it. Nobody in the league is lower than – that is every quarterback in the league that's lower than Bo Nix. There's reason for that because that's a really good indicator of what a quarterback is doing. He's at 6.4. Jared Goff's at 9.2. Lamar Jackson is at 9. Brock Purdy, who I don't think is elite, is at 8.5. Even Jalen Hurts is at 8.4. That's a big difference.
It is. But that's also part of the quote-unquote genius of Sean Payton. I mean, when you have a quarterback that's limited, I would think that would be the goal, is to keep it close to the line, limit the opportunities that he has to hurt you downfield by throwing an errant interception every now and then. We're just going to control the football. Well, and that's what they've been doing.
For sure.
We've just been controlling the football, playing good defense, and as long as Bo Nix can go out there and he can complete I'll say 65 to 75% of his passes, which seems to be the window that he's fallen into every good game that he's had, then we can go out and we can win some games. And every now and then he'll have a Geno Smith type game where he can throw 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. I mean, in the last 4 weeks of the season, the kid's thrown 9 touchdowns to 1 interception. Caleb Williams has 9 touchdown passes this whole year. Bo Nix is better than I gave him credit for. I didn't think that he was going to be really anything, and I'm not saying that he is something now, but at least at this point in the system that he's playing in, staying within the game plan of Sean Payton, he's fine to be to be a quarterback of a mediocre football team.
I can fractionally agree with he's a little bit better. I didn't think he could come in and do this in terms of even being at 14 touchdown passes. That's good. You've done it against the dregs of the NFL. And then Dakota, who I'll give credit. You're backing up your argument, and I'm totally fine with that. You're a fan. I'm not. So mine is, it's all black and white. He said he's not elite right now. There's my problem. He's 25 years old. Well, he'll be 25 in February. He's 5 years older than Drake May. That was my problem the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That was my argument. There is no more getting better. I'm not going to say, and I shouldn't have said it that way. He could get fractionally better. He's a 25-year-old quarterback in this league. You want a point of comparison on that? That I'm not going to say it will blow your mind, but I think it kind of explains exactly what I'm talking about. C.J. Stroud is how old?
24?
He's 23 and just turned 23.
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks ago? You're 2 full years older than a guy that's been in this league for almost 2 full years. Brock Purdy is younger than Bo Nix. He's in his 3rd year as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
That was always my point. You're taking an older guy that has a very safe floor now. He has no growth potential. That's where my issue comes in. I don't like taking older quarterbacks. It's why I didn't like Kenny Pickett. It's why I didn't like Bo Nix. And if you look over the course of time, I've been oddly accurate on that. He's winning games. That's fine. Enjoy that. I think it was Stone Sports Podcast in our chat that said, I'm more impressed with Peyton than Nix. I'll agree with that 1,000%, because this is not a good roster. You look at the Broncos top to bottom, that is not a good roster. The fact he's gotten this team to 6-5, I would be more encouraged by that than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because Peyton's the one you're super committed to. You're committed to Bo Nix. He's obviously fitting within the confines of the system. That's fine. You got to get some pieces around him and see if maybe there is a growth with better pieces. You got a 3-year window to do that. That's fine. It's just not a threat for you to win a Super Bowl. That's where I'm always coming from. I look at the NFL very simply. Every year there is 1 winner and 31 losers. I'm not big on participation trophies and, well, we got better, because look at it this way. I'm a 35-year Jets fan. How many times we're on the right track, and then it comes crashing to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I want to win.
Part of the problem of being what you are, though, is that it hurts your ability to become that good team. Right? The more you play in the middle of the league like this, trust me, from a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, I know.
You're actually the one that should be so animated about this, because you're living the theory.
Absolutely. Like when you're in the middle of the thick of things and you're picking in the middle of the first round, you never get the chance to replace that guy. Bo Nix, I've always felt like, can be a really good backup in this league. Who was it in the YouTube
I'm
chat?
higher on him than what you just said.
Who said it in the Kelvin Joyner said, if he's Geno Smith, then Bo Nix is better than I give him credit for.
He doesn't have the arm talent of Geno Smith.
Agreed.
I think he's smarter than Geno Smith.
Yeah.
He doesn't hold the ball as long as Geno Smith. The thing that Bo Nix is doing beautifully, and now look, a lot of what I've said here sounds negative. I don't mean for it to. It's just the way the question was asked. No, my opinion really hasn't changed. This is exactly what I told you were going to get. It's just working better than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Geno Smith holds the ball a really, really long time. Most average-ish quarterbacks, talent-wise, have a huge fatal flaw. Either they're athletic and they use their athleticism their entire careers, usually played at smaller schools. They didn't have defenses that were able to really keep up with them athletically, and that's what they leaned on. Anthony Richardson. He never developed as a quarterback because he was gigantic and he was fast. He didn't have to learn. And now he's gotten to such a point, he's in so many bad habits, you're never going to get out of it. You play the Jets, who didn't get anybody near you for 60 minutes, yeah, you can look solid. Because basically you're running a shell drill. Bo Nix, to me, is that same problem that I have with Brock, with Baker Mayfield, with Geno Smith. He just doesn't – I have yet to see the fatal flaw.
Mm-hmm.
What I think it is that he just refuses to push it down the field. I mean, it's got to be such a blown coverage for him to do it. And even then, he inconsistently hits it. I go back to that throw I showed you in New Orleans where I went, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that elite quarterbacks never miss. And I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who the receiver was. But it's a complete botched coverage. He has two receivers going to the same spot, which is a botched route. The Saints forgot them both. All he had to do, he's got a spot as big as a car dealership to land that ball in. What'd he do? He dropped it right in the middle where he couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that scare me. I'm not telling you not to enjoy it. As Broncos fans,
Contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Daniel, a veteran who accompanied law enforcement and other veterans to perform search and rescue operations. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
We're back at the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. And, Jeremy, we have learned over the years your philosophy about found money. You find some money on the side of the street. Who does it belong to?
whoever done found it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about
stop losing your money?
What about lost money? What about lost money? Whose responsibility is that?
What is the difference in the two things you just asked me?
Well, in one case, you found the money, and so finders keepers, losers weepers.
Yes.
On the other hand, you lost the money. Who's responsible for losing the money? Is it you, or is it someone else? There's a man who says that he threw away accidentally a hard drive that has 8,000 Bitcoin in it, which right now are running around, $90,000 per Bitcoin? Currently, $569 million should he be able to find said hard drive. The problem is he saved it for years, and then he accidentally threw it away, and now he wants to be able to go to the local landfill to try to find it, because it's worth $500 million. However, they won't let him do that. They say he can't go and find it. He can't go and look for it. That it would be a liability issue, obviously, for the municipality letting him do so, and that it is basically a lost cause, saying that it is not, quote, not possible under its licensing permit to allow this guy to go and search in the dump for his hard drive. He is now turning around and suing the local municipality for the hefty price of $495 million.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're not going to touch that.
I don't. It's a bold strategy, Cott. It's a bold strategy.
Stop throwing things away that you want.
Yeah. I mean,
really don't value this to be all that difficult.
I feel real bad for him. I mean, if you got $500 million sitting out there in a hard drive somewhere that you don't know, that would drive me absolutely insane. Although it is $500 million. So do I need permission to go to go look for that? I mean, I don't know how things work over in the UK, but the penalty for trespassing is not that great.
If you throw away $500 million, you didn't need to have $500 million. I've never thrown away $1. I mean, I'm sure maybe a stray dollar in a pair of pants.
Or a gift card that got left in a birthday card or something like that.
Gift cards wind up in the gift card drawer. I don't know how much is on them. There's probably $7,000 in gift cards in a drawer in my desk.
Right.
I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. That's on you, and I don't care. Shame him. Boo him.
Boo this man.
Boo this man. Boo him. Somebody you shouldn't boo. This is, oddly enough, my second CFL story in 2 days.
Wow.
I didn't see this one yesterday, or I'd have told it at the same time. During the 111th Grey Cup, they had a very American problem.
Mm-hmm.
But Canada has a much different way of dealing with it than we do.
Okay.
They had a streaker.
Yep.
She just got all nudie patootie, ran out on the field, and away she went.
Wow, it was a girl. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the difference?
Nope.
The difference between streakers in America and streakers in Canada, or they'll actually send the girls out there and we get, that on the screen. Thanks, guy.
We've had female streakers.
Once you put it away, we've seen it.
Looks like a secret right out of its shell. We've had female streakers here. That's not the difference. The difference is how many security guards chased her around the field.
75.
It's none.
None. Nobody chased him.
They just let her go.
Well.
She hopped on the field, ran around, fell down at one point, struck a little pose, ran into the end zone, and then security politely escorted her off the field after putting a jacket around her. That is the most Canadian thing I've ever heard. Oh, sorry. Could you put a parka on there? We brought one for you. Got a little maple syrup here, just in case you were parched. See?
You got to always put the A on the end of it.
That's the most Canadian thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's fine. Just let her. She'll tear herself out. It'll be
Oh,
fine.
don't worry.
That's just Rhonda. That's what she does.
I mean, it is Canada. I mean, so eventually she's going to get cold, and she'll have to come in.
Well, not necessarily. She's used to the cold. Doesn't bother her anyway.
Well, she's the ice queen.
I thought this was absolutely. I watched this video way more times than I'm proud of.
Mm-hmm. Do you have to have a special subscription for that? Is that behind the paywall?
No, it's on Twitter.
They put the Canadian streaker behind a paywall.
Oddly enough, the video was put up by a guy on Twitter named Rob the Hockey Guy. Also, about as Canada as you can get.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We are at the Week 12 Power Rankings here on a Power Rankings Tuesday here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We left off with the New Orleans Saints at number 24. Number 23.
The Chicago Bears.
Well, Caleb had a positive week.
Did he?
Positive. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. It was a positive week. He wasn't completely embarrassing, so it's a positive week.
He was still dinky dunky.
Hey,
awesome.
If Bo Nix, if Bo Nix can do it, Caleb Williams can do it. Hopefully.
Yeah, but see, I drafted one of them number one overall.
Oh yeah,
there's a problem there. There's a problem when I'm watching Jaden Daniels doing great things in Washington. I'm watching Drake May do great things in New England. Bo Nix doing great things in Denver. We had 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. 2 of them have either not played at all or barely played. Caleb Williams has been the worst of the four. And I don't even think it's debatable. That's a problem. I know Matt Eberflus is going to get fired. I don't think this job's going to be as easy to fill as everybody else thinks it's going to be.
No, I think it's always harder to fill a job when you're committed to a quarterback. And that's the problem is the Chicago Bears don't have their cycles lined up here. Right? You got the quarterback.
That usually happens.
And then a coach.
If they hang out together long enough, usually the
right,
cycles
but you
will
don't
line up.
but you don't give them any time to have that relationship.
He didn't get that.
100% I did. There's a reason I said that the way I did. You're not giving them any time to, sync up.
Maybe you should rent the Notebook.
I mean, the kid's already painting his nails. He needs somebody that he can grow with. And you don't have that. And the problem is you're a year behind on everything. Right? You get a new quarterback and then you get a new coach. And then you get a new quarterback and then you get a new coach. And then you get a new quarterback and guess where you're at? You're right back in the cycle again of we've had 1 year with a quarterback and now we're going to change coaches again.
Well, I mean, here's it's a very basic question, but it's a fitting question nonetheless. Who exactly is the coach that you think is going to tackle this?
Joe Brady.
I think he'll have better options.
I think that's the kind of guy that I'm looking to take over this. But because I don't think you're going to go out there and I don't think you're getting a Mike Vrabel. I don't think you're getting Bill Belichick to sign up for this.
Why would you want either one of those two guys? Those two guys with a horrific track record with quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that matters for the next hire is can you develop a quarterback? So you're going to bang the drum on every single offensive name that you can find. And the unfortunate thing is I think you're going to get a lot of people that have the same sentiment about Caleb Williams that I did. That's the guy that gets people fired. That's the 6 that thinks he's a 9.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not. And unfortunately, you convinced a lot of people that you are a 9.
Weird, just like Justin Fields was. Same thing.
These two tenures look eerily similar to me.
The Chicago Bears are a cursed franchise. It's hard to look at it any other way. Because no matter how many times you've taken a swing at the offensive side, which I get has not been a whole lot, mainly you've got defensive coaches that come in there. But do you remember who was the CFL guy that they had? He was supposed to be like the CFL offensive guru and come in and change the Chicago Bears. Yes, Mark Trestman. And God, that could not have gone worse. Well, I guess maybe it could have gone worse. He could have been, I don't know, Matt Eberflus.
Nathaniel Hackett. Hey, there you go. That's what you should do. Bring in Nathaniel Hackett. Not because it would work, but because it would amuse me.
I don't see an upside for the Chicago Bears right now. And getting a coach, you're going to have a real hard problem selling this to anybody that's got options. Number 23.
I knew it. It's 22. Conversely, this is a team that has no talent and a lot of heart and a quarterback that's playing real well.
Mm-hmm. Drake May's your quarterback of the future. You should feel solid about that.
All the people that made fun of me for having Drake May ahead of Caleb Williams, where y'all at, though?
Gerard,
did all your phones get disconnected? Is your phone service working like our internet where, cannot reach web page at this time?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. I haven't heard from any of them.
Yep. Gerard Mayo, have you made a decision on him? He was the right guy?
No. He was the right guy for right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. The thing about Gerard Mayo is that they're playing really hard for a coach they believe in. I don't know by the time you have the talent if you're not going to have kind of uncovered that. I don't know that he's a great coach. I know they're playing much better than they should be. And that's encouraging. But I can't really judge Gerard Mayo off what he has right now.
Yeah.
That roster is awful on the backside.
Mm-hmm. Number 21.
Miami Dolphins.
Nenny, has anything changed?
What would have changed?
Has
You
anything
beat
changed?
the Raiders and you struggled way more.
Mm-hmm.
Way more than you should have. No Smile said Mayo sucks. He's a Patriots fan, so trust me, take his
Okay.
You should take that opinion with far more than a grain of salt.
Apparently, they're not too happy up in Foxborough.
I've long thought that Gerard Mayo was going to be the guy that replaced Bill. 3 years from now, you'd hire the long-term coach.
Mm-hmm.
There's merit to that.
Miami Dolphins are 4-6 after beating the Las Vegas Raiders. You got a coach
Maybe the least impressive win I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You needed 2 gigantic plays to beat a team that cannot score. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to be impressed by that? Am I supposed to be looking at your schedule now going, oh, Miami's in the hunt? I keep seeing them on the graphic of in the hunt, and I just keep laughing going, so you're telling me if the Jets had won any one of these games that they lost by less than 1 score, they would also be in the hunt?
Yes.
That is comically stupid.
At 4-6, they're mathematically still in the hunt with 7 games to go.
They're all still in the hunt. They don't need to be on that graphic.
No doubt about it. You got 2 games with the Jets coming up. Maybe a game with the Browns. It's probably the only games you're going to win the rest of the year. And at that point, you end up 7-10, and your coach gets fired.
I am getting more to the Mike McDaniel probably doesn't survive this.
Mm-hmm. Mad respect, coach. But you got to win games. You got to win games.
Are you going to walk up to him and randomly say that when we see him as the offensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers?
Yes.
Indeed.
I will definitely. Glad to see you back with a winner, coach. At number 20.
The Indianapolis Colts.
So Anthony Richardson and company paid off on your wager. You knew you knew that was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Running quarterbacks against the Jets. Death, taxes, and running quarterbacks against the Jets. What now, though?
Well, now you get to get your feelings hurt by the Detroit Lions.
Exactly. That's what I've laughed at with all of the response I've heard from Indianapolis is, well, Anthony Richardson's on the right path. Woo, I'm going to need you. You should unlist that. You should unlist that video, bro, because that's going to age like a dairy product. Then you go at the Patriots, at the Broncos, and I have a funny feeling by that time you're going to see exactly what it is I'm saying.
You're at that crux of the season where the next win or the next loss, puts you in the danger zone. And you're just not good enough to stay out of it.
They're in the danger zone anyway.
Yeah, you're just not good enough.
I mean, record-wise, you belong on said graphic, but you're still not in the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you a funny story or a funny stat about Anthony Richardson? This year, he has played 7 games, enough to have a QBR. He has a 92, a 75.5. What is the highest number outside of those 2 games?
I'll go 37.
You're so close, 38.5.
Oh.
And that was a game he got knocked out of. In a game that he saw to completion, it's a 35.4.
Mm-hmm.
50 is the league average for a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not good. Don't fall for this. Do not fall for this.
They're 5-6. Indianapolis currently, quote, still in the hunt, but not really.
They're in the hunt the way Elmer Fudd's in the hunt for Bugs Bunny. You know he ain't going to win it, but give him a hat and a gun and see what we do.
Right. At number 19.
You are struggling with numbers. You've got me screwed up over here, and I've got them all. They're all on the screen already. The Los Angeles Rams. One of the hardest debates was which team I would put where, the Rams or the Colts, because I think they're the same team. You're here. You're hanging around. You're not a threat to anybody. You have 2 really good receivers, one of whom just does not really seem to have much of a plan for after football. Puka Nacua is that guy that I look at and go, that body's not going to age particularly well because you just love throwing yourself in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, you've got a couple pieces on defense but there's really not. There's just not much here.
Was he throwing punches again this week, or
No,
have we buttoned that up?
No, he doesn't have that self-preservation of I've got to take care of myself and not take that outrageous hit. ESPN.com did an article on this, that his playing style's all well and good and what's made him so popular, but it could be a danger to himself.
Right. And you're only as far as your weapons can carry Matthew Stafford.
Your 3 best players on this team are all offensive weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Your 4th best player is your quarterback. Your 5th best player is an edge rusher. Of all of those guys, the only one that's really young is Jared Verse. It's just it's a weird. You were talking about schedules or whatever it was you said, syncing up. The Rams is not.
Their cycles are all
cycle. Yeah, that was the word you said.
Yeah, their cycles are all out of whack. At number 18,
we're going to do the next 2 together.
Okay.
For a very simple reason. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
At number 17,
the Atlanta Falcons. One of you is going to make the playoffs. It's going to be the Falcons. You don't deserve to make the playoffs, but you're going to win a division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either one of those teams are any good. I fought this all season long, and they've given you every indication I'm right. And yet, the fact that they beat up on each other makes you think, no, but they're good. I want you to really think about what I'm going to say. What is the difference in the Mountain West and the NFC South?
The difference?
If you put Boise State in the Big Ten, what would happen?
Squashed.
They'd go 4-8.
Mm-hmm.
If you put the Atlanta Falcons or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in any division in the NFL that wasn't the AFC East, and even in that division, I don't think it's going to be all that good. They're the 3rd best team in that division at best. They're the worst team. The worst team
mm-hmm.
in 2 of them.
I don't disagree. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 4-6 right now. 3 of their wins are against the Eagles, the Lions, and the Commanders. This is what it's like to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan.
Oh, trust me, you get no sympathy from me. I tried to tell you this when you hired it.
Oh, yeah. Denver Broncos, Atlanta Falcons twice. Okay, so maybe the other losses aren't really worth I mean, they're not really shockers. It's you lost to the Chiefs, San Francisco, you can start putting into that category. And then there was, of course, the Broncos game that, well, apparently they should be the champions of the NFC South.
They are. Second team in NFL history to ever beat a division that they are not in. All by 10 points in the same season.
And then a 10-point loss to the Baltimore Ravens after that.
I just saw one, though. There was another team, and now I can't think of who it was. Oh, it's Minnesota. Minnesota almost did the exact same thing with the AFC South. The only one they didn't beat by 10 points was the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL's drunk. It's strange. Like, you need to go home because it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Atlanta's got the better players.
And a 3-game lead.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously.
You're not making up a 3-game lead. I don't care how bad they got beat by.
But they're not a they're not a threat.
No, Atlanta goes into the playoffs, hosts a playoff game. I almost guarantee you, we will be in the building for it, and they will get scattered, smothered, and covered by the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
Or the Green Bay Packers, or the Philadelphia Eagles, or the Washington Commanders. Ooh, that's the one I want it to be. I was sounding that out. No, Sammy D MVP in Atlanta would be awesome. I'm just trying to think of which would be more fun for us to load up the Parks Ford mobile studio and hit the road with the internet connection that we're currently using because of Charter. I'm not bitter.
No, not at all. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
I almost said something mean right there, and I didn't do it. You should be proud of me.
92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. We'll be right back.
You could hear your favorite song for the first time again. Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
What's up, everybody? It's Peter Schrager. We're back for the season with Peter Schrager. In each episode, I'm going to take you inside and behind the scenes of the conversations that happen at the highest levels of NFL franchises. We're bringing the top GMs, top coaches. We're going to give you the story behind the story that you're probably not getting anywhere else. Each week, I'll bring you conversations on the inside and give you the chance to get to know your favorite personalities in a different way. Listen to The Season with Peter Schrager on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search The Season to start listening.
Did you apply for FEMA help after the recent disaster and want to know the status of your application or how to appeal an eligibility decision?
It's easy to reach FEMA. Call 800-621-3362.
Does FEMA have your current contact information?
If you're not sure, call 800-621-3362 because FEMA may need more information to help you. Remember, call 800-621-3362 or go online to disasterassistance.gov.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you? Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go up, you need a place where prices stay low. So shop in-store or online for quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love every day. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
If you're living with chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders, I've got exciting news for you.
Emmitt Smith, all-time rushing leader and Hall of Famer.
Now you can get relief from pain without harmful medications and surgery. Call my guys at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics specializes in biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue. I'm talking about natural pain treatments now available, not just for pro athletes, but to people like you.
At QC Kinetics, we're seeing patients every day who suffer from chronic joint pain but who desperately wanted to avoid surgery. We're treating joint pain with biologic therapies, regenerative solutions with long-lasting results.
Listen, it's all about getting your life back. Playing touch football with kids, walking upstairs pain-free, getting back on a job, and patients at QC Kinetics are raving about the results.
QC Kinetics. Call to learn more about restorative treatments that can get you back in the game.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Cloudy and a little cooler out here this afternoon with a chance of showers, mid-60s. Scattered showers here tonight. Patchy fog late, mid-50s. Morning clouds, fog, and even a couple of showers Wednesday, becoming sunny into and through the afternoon. Breezy tomorrow, upper 60s. Colder for the end of the business week. Sunny and windy both Thursday and Friday. Afternoon highs, middle to upper 40s on Thursday, low to mid-40s Friday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. As you are all recovering from Hurricane Helene, count on Lowe's for help with cleanup and repair. Visit Lowe's in-store or online to find out about relief efforts in your area or get emergency supplies now.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is live in the Ingalls studio on ESPN Asheville, and you can see us everywhere on the YouTubes. Hear us everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat during the program. It is a
Power Rankings Tuesday.
Yeah, it's also, it's not really technically the Giving Tuesday. I know Giving Tuesday comes after the Thanksgiving holiday, right? You got the Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday. We encourage you to give all year round, and especially at this time of year when, the need is abundant, especially after Hurricane Helene. We need to support Manna Food Bank all we can at this time to help support our neighbors. And 4 to 6 this afternoon, we will be out at the Candler Ingalls on the corner of Sand Hill Road and Smoky Park Highway. 4 to 6 again in support of the Manna Food Bank Ingalls Giving Tree. We're going to light that up on next Monday at the Asheville Mall. And today, during the 4 to 6 stint there at the Candler Ingalls, you can come by and register to win a $500 gift card from Ingalls Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. Or tickets to Shadrack's drive-through light show at the Tryon International Equestrian Center. So Jeremy and I out there, Ingalls and Candler, 4 to 6 this afternoon. This is the Power Rankings Tuesday, and top half of the league now, Jeremy, at number 16.
The San Francisco 4th and Niners.
You really couldn't lose to the Seattle Seahawks this past week, but somehow you loseabled that game.
Uh-huh.
And now you're looking everybody else in the division in the eye, which is not where San Francisco's used to playing from. Could be one of the best coaching jobs that he's done if Kyle Shanahan can rally this team into a contender once again. But as it currently sits, you're not contending for squat.
Okay, so I'm going to need you to elaborate on rallying this team into a contender.
Yes.
I need you to explain to me what that means.
If you go on a winning streak and you roll off 6-7 wins at the end of the season here, then it probably would be one of the best coaching jobs he's ever done.
So to do that, you'd have to beat the Packers at the Packers, the Bills at the Bills, the Lions at the Cardinals. That's not going to happen.
I know.
I mean, so if Wings flew out of his keister, he could be the most beautiful pigeon that's ever existed. I see those two things. It is about as likely.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what nobody wants to talk about. At least I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Who's actually been good for this team? Like, name me a player that's been really, really good for the 49ers.
Jawan Jennings.
That is an acceptable answer.
Jordan Mason. Almost said Jordan Foster. I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
Mm-mm.
I think he played on Punky Brewster.
Maybe.
George Kittle's an acceptable answer. Jawan Jennings is an acceptable answer. Fred Warner is an acceptable answer. Nick Bosa is an acceptable answer. I'm through talking now.
Mm-hmm.
Renardo Green is an acceptable answer, too. Which is crazy because he's a Florida State guy, and I was still shocked that they took him as high as they did.
But at least it's worked out for him.
I could count on – it wouldn't take all of my fingers to tell you the number of guys that are actually playing well for this team. Brock Purdy's been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Analytics will always love him because he's highly accurate. He just never makes – Brock never makes that play. This team's not good.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 16. But they are.
Yeah. As evidenced by the wins and losses. You just go through the schedule and you can look at the wins and go, oh, you beat all the bad teams. You look at all the losses and go, oh, if that team's any kind of good, you've lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, there's a split in there with the Seattle Seahawks. Like, this is where you are. You're just sitting here at 500, twiddling your thumbs, and at this point, I don't know what the hope should be. Should the hope be that you go on a 7-game winning streak or a 6-game winning streak or whatever to make the playoffs?
Well, I mean, that's not going to happen. You can hope, defecate in one hand, hope in the other, see which one fills up faster. Because that ain't happening. You're playing 4 teams at the end of this year that are in the top 11 of our power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
You're not them, and you're not going to be. And 3 of those teams are in the top 6. You're not beating those teams. You might steal a win against Green Bay and Lambeau because I can't quite put my finger on what they are. You ain't beating the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. You got 2 hopes here. Do you want to miss the playoffs entirely, which could lead to all kinds of things?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to sneak in as the final wild card, knowing full well that means you're either going to Washington or Philadelphia, or that's probably it, and get smoked?
Have we reached the point where they're playing for their jobs? The coaches, the GM.
I've long thought John Lynch was not as safe as everybody thought he was. Kyle Shanahan, I don't know. I don't think it can get that bad.
I wouldn't think it would.
Not this year.
I mean, you do this again. You get a couple of back-to-back seasons where you're not contending, and maybe. Although it does kind of feel like this team does that whole 1 year on, 1 year off thing. And I get a lot of it can be attributed to the injuries. But maybe this was just it. This was just a down year.
I'll tell you a fun story about Kyle Shanahan. In his NFL career, he has 4 seasons with double-digit wins.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a head coach for 8. The other 4 seasons, he's never won more than 6 games. That should tell you a lot more than people seem to want it to. But injuries, and he was due. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. You had 3 great years against a very down NFC. You had 1 great year right in the middle of that. Other than that, you've been largely average.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kyle Shanahan's a good, not great coach. Always have, probably always will. There's just not a whole lot there to me. You had a very good, very innovative offense. Well, then the problem was that everybody in the NFL picked up all the things you were doing, and now everybody sees it every week. And now there's no innovation. San Francisco 49ers, to me, are a team without an identity. What is it that you'd say you do? Are you a running team? Because you have been at times.
Mm-hmm.
And at other times, you can't run a greasy peg up a cat's keister. Are you a defensive team? Well, sometimes you are. And other times you let Geno Smith run one in from 30 yards out to beat you. Are you a pass it up and down the field team? I've seen you be all of these. I don't think you know what you are. And a team without an identity is never going to be better than about right here for me.
Yep. Number 15.
I don't know. The Cincinnati Bengals, I don't know what to do with you.
Well, you got back-to-back weeks where, I mean, you've played with 2 of the best teams record-wise in the NFL, with the Baltimore Ravens and the Los Angeles Chargers. you tried to win that game against the Chargers until you didn't. And then Evan McPherson bit you in the keister. 2 missed field goals at the end of that game. How does that not start stacking up in your brain as we just can't win? And once you get stuck into that mentality, it can snowball out of control. And I kind of felt that listening to Zach Taylor after the game. Of this has to mean something. We're going through all of this for some specific reason. What it is on the other side, where we come out on top on the other side, we don't know.
Well, because they're not. This is a team that's not good defensively. And the funny thing is they've been 2 completely different teams not good defensively over the course of an entire NFL season. The start of the year, it couldn't stop the run to save their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're actually not terrible against the run. You can't stop the pass. They have no corners. They have one guy that can get home. It is what it is. You've got an elite quarterback. You've got 2 elite receivers. You've got, I think, a very good running back. Other than that, you don't have much. But you do have those things.
You do.
And that's enough to put you at 15 to me.
Yep. I've got the quarterback. I've got the weapons. At any moment, I can sneak up and I can beat somebody. I can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on a good day. The problem is you got to bring that A game on offense all the time because you know the defense is going to leave you behind.
Joe Burrow's got to be special to win games.
Mm-hmm.
That's where this team's at.
Yep. Number 14.
The Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Feels gross, doesn't it?
It does. You're not really impressive in anything. I mean, you nastied out a win in the division this week against the San Francisco 49ers, but we just talked about that team and how little we believe in them. And Seattle is just kind of a different shade of gray from the San Francisco 49ers. You're fine. You can beat some teams, and most of the time you're probably not.
You know, a lot of times we talk about how Detroit embodies their city. I feel like Seattle embodies their city too.
Okay.
It's very gray.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rainy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pretty. It's not fun to watch. But it works.
And hopefully the good days outweigh the bad.
That's the hope.
Right.
I mean, Seattle to me is the definition of a 9-8 football team.
Mm-hmm.
You're non-threatening to anybody. I actually, you know what? I want to do 14 and 13 together because I feel like they're the same team.
Okay, at number 13.
The Denver Broncos. What is the high side for either one of you? They played a game to start this year very competitive. And I didn't really think about it until I was doing the power rankings this week, and I went, you are the AFC, NFC versions of each other. You have a quarterback with a ceiling that can do really good things at times.
Mm-hmm.
Can do really bad things at times. I don't think you're going to win because of your quarterback. One of you has a pretty stout defense. The other one has a lot of toys. I don't value either one of you to be a threat. Neither one of them could win a playoff game, I don't think.
Right.
Unless absolutely everything in the world broke your way.
Mm-hmm. Unless you end up catching a team like Tampa Bay caught Philadelphia last year. They're on a backslide going into the playoffs, and they show up with very little hope. That Seattle team might be able to beat a team like that.
For me, there's such a jump from 13 to 12. I don't think any of these teams could backslide that hard. I don't think any one of these teams that are in the top 12, which I would consider now we're getting into ranging levels of contender.
Mm-hmm.
We have a handful that I think could contend to get to a conference championship game. Then we have a handful, and you'll understand why I said this way, a handful that could contend for a conference championship in the other conference. And then we have the real contenders. There are not many of those.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. The Power Rankings Tuesday rolls on next.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This season, the PayPal app has amazingly low prices for holiday shopping. You get exclusive cashback offers in the app. Then, PayPal stacks 5% more back in the monthly category of your choosing on up to $1,000 in purchases. Don't just pay. PayPal.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford, Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Like Daniel, a veteran who accompanied law enforcement and other veterans to perform search and rescue operations. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, live from the Ingles studio on a
Power rankings, dude.
Power rankings, they were okay. All right. Didn't get
It's
much
dreary outside. Technical issues.
Just kind of hitting the wall.
It's not even a wall. It's just, you ever just wake up and go, this is going to be one of those days. You just, even just sitting there washing your hair.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be one of those days. Isn't it? So far, it's been.
We are in the midst of the Week 12 power rankings here in the NFL, up to the top dozen. The
dirty dozen.
Number 12.
The Green Bay Packers. You should have lost to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's call it what it was. You got real lucky there.
Mm-hmm.
And your quarterback has this unbelievable ability to turn the ball over that I have not seen the likes of very many times. Last year we had a ton of Green Bay Packer fans that wanted to tell me how wrong I was about Jordan Love. The defense is getting less vehement. Now, it could be that I'm less I don't think he should be working at the Home Depot, as I once said.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't think he's an elite quarterback by any stretch.
No. I don't believe he is either. I mean, I feel like he falls into that Kirk Cousins tier of you're good and you can win me some games, but you can also make some decisions that are going to put me in a horrid situation. And thankfully, I have a defensive coach and a defense that can make up for a lot of those ills.
I'm going to ask you a question,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to phrase this in a statistical way. I'm going to give you all the quarterbacks who have a higher QBR for the year than Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell me which one he's better than.
Okay.
I'm going to take out the obvious, which is Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Jared Goff.
Okay.
Do you have any disagreements?
No.
Okay. Kyler Murray.
Kyler's better.
I would agree. Jaden
Daniels.
Brock Purdy.
Purdy.
You had to think about that.
I did have to think about that one. I think they're very similar.
I kind of do too.
I mean, I think where one makes up for his shortcomings in magic plays with solid play.
Magic play.
Right. The other one. I mean, what else do you call it when Jordan Love can turn his back to a defense, turn around and just uncork it 50 yards down the field and then just blindly go, yep, he's there. How many times did we see him do that last year? I feel like it was a few.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he'll have some special plays, but he's not the cerebral quarterback like Brock Purdy.
Jordan Love, Kirk Cousins, and Justin Herbert are all three within 3 points of each other. Rank
them. Who was the third one?
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. I'll go Herbert at the top.
I would too.
Love at the bottom.
I would take Love over Kirk Cousins, but I think that's the line. That makes you roughly the 12th to 14th best quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's about what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where and I'm going to say the same thing about him that I said about Bo Nix. I feel like we spend a lot of time arguing about whether guys are, well, he's at least the 9th best quarterback in the league. You can be 9, you can be 19. It doesn't really matter. In an era where we're this good at quarterback, unless you got a whole mess behind you, all you're doing is fighting for who's going to lose in a conference championship game.
Right.
Or losing a divisional round game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I see out of Green Bay. I see a really talented team that I have next to no faith in. You can do a lot of things. And Tank has argued with me on Green Bay all year because I had too much faith in them. And so I sat down and watched them play the Bears a lot.
Yep.
Wasn't impressed.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a team that has really good spots.
Yep.
They have really good series. Right? You have a really good defensive series, and then you come out and lay an egg on offense. And then you'll come out and you'll have an okay-ish series, and then you'll have a good offensive series. There's no consistency to me with this team, and I feel like that's what you saw against the Bears. That is an inconsistent, undisciplined football team, and it kind of took a little stroke of luck for you to win that game.
Now, the irony is who they're right behind.
At number 11.
The Minnesota Vikings. They're the same team you are. There's one difference.
Mm-hmm.
They have Justin Jefferson. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it came down to. I look at both your defenses as kind of gimmicky. It can really work at times. It can really not work at times. I view your quarterbacks exactly the same. This is probably the best way I could have ever explained Jordan Love, and I wish that we'd had the Jordan Love arguments this year instead of last year. You have to win a game right now to save your life. Between Jordan Love and Sam Darnold, who are you taking?
Do I have the same weapons, or do I get Justin Jefferson?
No, equal weapons.
Equal weapons.
Yeah, we go Madden franchise dynasty redraft style. That was my point.
Yeah.
I don't even care who you say. It doesn't matter.
I think I flipped the coin and I forget to call it like they did in the CFL game.
That's my point. One of them is a $55 million franchise quarterback. The other one, we're actively having discussions of we should let him walk out the door so we can play a quarterback who should never have gone in the top 10 that's never thrown an NFL pass.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. That's the point I've been trying to make on Jordan Love for 3 years. And I'll be honest with you, if Green Bay and Minnesota played on a neutral field right now, I'll take Minnesota.
I would too. Fractionally, but I would too.
Now, I would take them both to lose on a neutral field to the team we have at number 10.
Which is?
The Arizona Cardinals. You're more talented than they are. They play harder than you do. And I think they're a better coach than you are.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona is incredibly impressive. Could this all fall to pot? Sure it could, because you don't have nearly the talent. To me, this feels like, I can't remember what was that movie with Rob Schneider in it where he had 3 daughters and 2 of them were smoke shows and the other one looked like you?
Yeah, that was grown-ups.
Grown-ups.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we're doing here at the top of the NFC. Detroit Lions, Philadelphia Eagles, the rest of you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Maybe you have a great personality. I don't know. There are 2 supremely talented teams in the NFC. The Eagles are insanely talented. They're just poorly coached.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like we're on a crash course there because the NFC teams, they all strike me as very much the same. I really like Arizona. I also really like the team at number 9.
Number 9.
The Washington Commanders. You seeing a trend here?
What do you mean?
The last 4 teams have all been in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talked about how bad the AFC was and all the AFC. No. I know. It's not bad at the top.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a very tangible line.
Oh, yeah. There's a clear point of demarcation in the NFC.
And it's at the Cincinnati Bengals. We had 4 straight NFC teams after the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
We've now had 5 of 6 NFC teams before the Bengals in terms of chronological order. I should tell you something. The NFC's deeper. You really lack at the top.
Well, you only have one elite team.
You have the elite
right,
team. You have the only elite team in this league.
Right. You have one truly elite team, and the rest of it is just fighting over the scraps, essentially.
Detroit fan, man, this is one of my favorite comments. It's literally the first comment I've seen today. He said, comparing Love with Darnold while making fun of both mediocrity is exactly why I like this show.
Yeah.
Tank always says I have, what is it you call it? 3-dimensional chess.
Yeah.
I have a very different way of looking at things because I compare everything. I do it with everything in life. If this afternoon, we'll be at Ingalls Sandhill Road for a remote. I will grab dinner while I'm there. I will walk the entire store just looking at what's on sale because it doesn't really matter what I eat. I want to get the right value and have something hit my brain that goes, oh, yeah, that'd be good. I have no clue what that is going in. I've already texted my wife. I'm bringing home food. I couldn't tell you what it is. Not even I couldn't even guess what I'm bringing. Just be prepared for food. That's what it will be. I do that with everything.
Mm-hmm.
I compare everything I see to something else because that's how I compartmentalize things in my head. And now to tie that back to these 4 teams, the Commanders have the least talent of the 4 teams I've just said. They have the best quarterback, and it's not debatable. The Cardinals have the second least talent. To me, they have the second best quarterback. They have the best coach. The Vikings are kind of the blah. I don't think your roster's all that good. Your quarterback is a lot better than the rest of you thought.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably not as good as I thought. And you're just kind of here. Then I get to Green Bay. You have a really good roster with a coach that's let me down 1,000 times and a quarterback that I don't really believe in. That's how they end up in this order. If they played a 4-team playoff right now on neutral fields, that's exactly how I think it would go. You'd wind up with the Commanders playing the Cardinals because I got 2 teams that are playing with their hair on fire that don't have the talent. I got 2 more that have a good amount of talent and not nearly as much heart.
Mm-hmm.
They do things that are maddeningly inconsistent. The Vikings one day look like a top 5 team in this league. The next week, they're struggling with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Green Bay Packers, I've had in the top 6 for the better part of this entire season. And then you struggle with the Bears. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are steamrolling everybody they play, and the Commanders only lose to teams that are in the top 8. Because if you've noticed, the 2 teams they've lost to in a row, neither one of them have we said yet. They lose to teams that they have a talent deficiency with. You have so much more talent than me that you beat me. That is part of how this league works. It's actually the definition of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
You have so many players that I can't keep up because Jimmys and Joes still matter more than X's and O's. But if it's close, I'll take Washington over all of them.
Yep.
I'll take Arizona over all of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, Arizona comes in at number 10. Number 9.
The Washington Commanders. I already did that.
And number 8.
Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right, they're all right here together, just stacked and packed. Philadelphia at 8, Washington at 9, the Arizona Cardinals at 10. Are any of you a threat to win the NFC? Not in my mind.
Unless the Detroit Lions, I don't know, unless they go full Home Alone and they leave Jared Goff at home by accident. Where's Kevin?
Weird things can happen, and you'd be on that next tier of the NFC. But we feel like Detroit is that far above you. See, I feel like all of these teams, there's a small, really remote chance that all of these teams could play for a Super Bowl. None of them, I think, could win it. But to get there, maybe. You'd have to have a team in front of you slip up. You'd have to have another 5-interception game from Jared Goff, and this time there's no saving it. That's the only path that I see for any of these NFC teams to take home that title.
You would have to outcoach Dan Campbell, which I don't like Nick Sirianni's chances of doing.
Precisely.
The thing is that you've had a roster that is so good that is borderline poor coaching proof until you get to the Detroit Lions. And now I'll tell you a fun fact. We are to the 7th best team in the NFL. There is one NFC team left on these rankings.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
There are no more. We have 15 NFC teams on the board from 8 to 31. That is a lot of competitive balance.
Mm-hmm. We'll tell you.
The AFC has none of that because they have 6 teams in a row.
We'll tell you who those teams are coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Cloudy and a little cooler out here this afternoon with a chance of showers, mid-60s. Scattered showers here tonight. Patchy fog late, mid-50s. Morning clouds, fog, and even a couple of showers Wednesday, becoming sunny into and through the afternoon. Breezy tomorrow, upper 60s. Colder for the end of the business week. Sunny and windy both Thursday and Friday. Afternoon highs, middle to upper 40s on Thursday, low to mid-40s Friday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Bojangles. It's always bow time.
It's bow time. 2 Bojangles steak biscuits for $5 means 2 times the tender, 2 times the flavor, 2 times the country fried, change your life, need another bite goodness you crave. Order yours today. It's bow time.
If you're a business owner, driving sales is a priority. And the formula for marketing success? It's reach times response rate equals results. And no platform reaches the customers your business needs like radio. At iHeartMedia, we provide unmatched reach through our radio stations, podcasts, and digital streaming platforms. Maximize your results by driving response from our massive audience. Call 844-844-iHeart. Don't wait. Holiday shopping has already started. That's 844-844-IHEART.
Insurance sold by Smart Money Insurance Services Incorporated. Underwritten by various insurers. Coverage, exclusions, and limitations may apply.
Did you know the price of a funeral can be $8,000 or more? Don't leave your loved ones with your debts. Download the Smart Money app right now and get up to $25,000 in final expense coverage starting at less than $1 a day. There's no medical exam, and you can be approved even if you have pre-existing health conditions. Download the Smart Money app and get up to $25,000 in coverage for your funeral and other final expenses. Go to the App Store and download the Smart Money app and get instant coverage. Download the Smart Money app now.
The Sportsocracy.
Told you.
He did make me think.
Don't do it.
Live from the Ingalls studio.
Don't do it unless you want to hear about how I feel.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
Best just put that on conversation probation and leave it alone.
On ESPN Asheville.
This season, the PayPal app has amazingly low prices for holiday shopping. You get exclusive cashback offers in the app. Then, PayPal stacks 5% more back in the monthly category of your choosing on up to $1,000 in purchases. Don't just pay. PayPal.
Dan Scott here, inviting you to check out my new show every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. here on ESPN Asheville, where we bring sports and faith together. The Dan Scott Show, 8 a.m. Sundays on ESPN Asheville.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Daniel, a veteran who accompanied law enforcement and other veterans to perform search and rescue operations. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
The Sportsocracy.
Take all this, burn it, okay? Gasoline, kerosene, either one. Burn it.
We're back in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
One job.
One job. Go ahead and tell us your crime story, Jeremy.
You're not going to hit the sounder?
I mean, I could, but I got to find it here. No, I don't have it. There it is. There we go.
We'll put the fat one job baby up for this entire segment.
You can, absolutely.
My story is about Amanda Leanne Porter. She's 44 years old, and to protect the innocent in this story, we will not disclose the name of the person that she offended here.
Mm-hmm.
Namely because the AP story didn't. For that reason. She's from Virginia. She's on federal probation for fraud. And she has moved to Southern California, and she was looking for a job. She found one using not her name, because it's hard for someone on federal probation to get a job in the nursing field. So she got a job at several Southern California hospitals as a nurse in direct care of patients using a fictitious name, a fictitious license, and this went on for 6 weeks. Now, California, I don't want to make this political, but this is a reason that people like me say you should have to have some form of photo identification to do things like this because of
When you're born, you have 270, and then they kind of fuse together as you grow. So maybe that's where you were confused. At one point in your life, you probably do have 237 bones. Just somewhere in the The
Only if your last
gestation
name's
process.
Kardashian.
Oh.
I couldn't help it. You wouldn't move on. You just don't. Okay. I am a simple man, and I can only do so much. When you set me up that well, I can't help it.
Yes. That's why we work good together.
Make them laugh. Make them laugh.
Indeed. 206 bones in the body. So she had no previous official training?
No, she didn't. That's terrifying to me. That somebody could just be, I don't know, like injecting things into my body that I used to work at Lowe's. I used to pressure treat lumber the same way. Get out of here right now.
7 things you never want your nurse to say to you.
What does that do? For sure. I could do that for a long time.
What's that beeping noise?
Yeah, the things you don't want your nurse and things you don't want your mechanic to say. Both oddly similar. That's not where that goes. Why is that on fire?
What, are you writing a new episode of Grey's Anatomy over there? Jeez.
I've been watching Chicago Med. You see some stuff.
Gotcha.
You see some stuff. My wife pointed out to me that I have I apparently have a weird enjoyment of soap opera type television.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a Samsung television?
Yeah.
Do you ever accidentally hit the button that goes to Samsung Plus?
No.
It's really easy to do on my remote because I have one of those big universal, like, control the air conditioner and all the other things remotes.
Right.
I hit that button a lot, and it winds up on One Tree Hill, Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek is the one that led to what I'm getting ready to say.
Uh-huh.
That happens more than I'm happy to admit. And 9 times out of 10, I can say something like, oh, I remember this episode. And my wife, I think she heard it too many times. And she looked at me last night and said, how many episodes of Dawson's Creek have you never seen? And I went, oh, that's 0. Yeah, that's not 1.
Didn't miss a single one.
I loved that show when I was a kid. Mainly because Katie Holmes was not a Scientologist yet, and she was awful fun to look at.
Open up your morning light, say a little prayer for
Performed by the great Paula Cole.
We played this game in the studio for like 30 minutes the other day of who sang this song, Tank? And
Tank went through every dark-headed white woman that was even halfway popular in
Lisa
the
Loeb.
mid-90s.
Ani
Meredith
DeFranco. Meredith Brooks, that's a good one.
Oh, I could do this for a minute.
Natalie Imbruglia. Anyway, we need to get back into the power rankings here on a
Power Rankings Tuesday.
There's
That's why you
one.
let me do crimes, because I get back into our internet right now is running at the speed of dial-up because it's on the other side of the parking lot.
Right.
So, one job.
At number 7.
This would be the worst of the AFC contenders to me, but not to be confused with the next two. Go Chargers, go!
The worst of the contenders, but do you feel that there's an upside here? Or is this the upside?
Hit the next 2 teams, and I'm going to answer. I'll answer that question. I need to explain something about what you're asking.
Okay, at number 6.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
And at number 5.
The Houston Texans. Which one of those teams has the highest upside to you?
I would say the Houston Texans.
It ain't to me. It's the Chargers. It's
Really?
in reverse order.
Really?
Nobody wants to talk about this. C.J. Stroud's regressing. Rather aggressively, actually.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't had, like, the performance this year that makes you go, oh, that was the guy that we saw last year. It's all just been very pedestrian.
I have a philosophy on why that's happening. We often talk about the sophomore slump. And I've always thought that term is really misleading because it makes it sound like guys get to their into the middle part of their second year or even at the beginning of their second year, and they do something that alters their performance. They don't. The league gets tape on you. And now I feel like we have seen C.J. Stroud and we've seen some of his deficiencies, and we're catching up. And now the question is, does he have a second act? He is really, really talented. He is also really, really infuriating, too. By the time I turned that game off last night, I was like, the Houston Texans should win this game 57-0.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. And C.J. Stroud was a large portion of why.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon's an absolute dog. They have a ton of weapons. That defense is evil. That defense looks like something I would conspire on Madden. Oh, we got Jalen Petrie. What position does he play? All of them. Where's he going? Guess you got to find out.
But is it just that he's off schedule, that there's just not a rhythm, or is it something deeper?
I want to do a deeper film breakdown on it because I watched this live last night. And I'm not going to lie, the line is a big part of this. But even in a clean pocket at times, it's what it seems to me, without having dug deep into this, is that he's so used to the pressure getting there so quick that he's accelerated the clock in his own brain. And that's leading to some missed opportunities. I want to dig into that deeper before I really answer that, but that's the preliminary best I've seen watching television tape. I want to dig back in, and I'll do that either tomorrow or Thursday. We got a lot of stuff this week. So first time I can sit down with my tablet and go, hey, there it is, I'll let you know.
Right.
I don't know how good the Chargers can be. I think I know how good the Texans can be. Their floor is higher than the other two. The Steelers or the Chargers, either one of them, you could tell me that they hit a big slump at the end of the year, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Steelers' schedule gets evil. Chargers really haven't beaten anybody that's overly impressive yet, but I think both those teams are really well coached. I think all three of these teams are really well coached.
Mm-hmm.
I ranked them basically in order of talent. The Texans have the most talent on this list. The Steelers are 2, and the Chargers are 3.
Yep.
But if you told me one of them cranked up and became a legit contender, somebody that I actually think could beat a Baltimore or could beat a Buffalo or could beat a Kansas City, I would say it's the Chargers.
Yeah. Monday Night Football this coming week, Los Angeles Chargers and the Baltimore Ravens.
The Har Bowl!
Then you go Falcons at the Chiefs, Buccaneers, Broncos, Patriots, Raiders. You really got a lot of favors with the schedule this year.
For sure.
It's a perfect scenario for a new coach, new system, trying to get in a groove. You got a pretty cushy schedule.
By the way, it's really easy to do that when you finish with the 5th worst record in the league the last year.
Mm-hmm.
But Alex Majabi has a really good point. They are flush with draft picks, and they have $100 million in cap space next year. The Chargers are ahead of schedule. The Steelers are where the Steelers live.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans it seems to be falling behind schedule. We thought they were going to be big-time competitive this year. They're really not.
Yep.
They're good, but I don't see them beating any of the high-end teams.
No, where Pittsburgh gets left behind is your quarterback.
Yeah.
You have Russell Wilson.
And your weapons. You have one weapon that I'm scared of in any way.
Your other quarterback is Justin Fields if something happens to Russell Wilson or if they decide that they want to make a switch at some point. You don't have a quarterback that I can believe in anymore. There was a time for Russ, but that was 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Jack Hess said he called the sophomore slump on Stroud. And he did.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him that. He said that multiple times, and I thought it was – I'm not going to lie, I kind of thought he was insane. And then the more I've watched it, okay, there's something to this. I really saw it last night.
Now the no doubt contenders at number 4.
The Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs at 4, clutch my pearls. They haven't played well.
Mm-hmm.
That's the luckiest 9-0 team I've ever seen. And I watched Buffalo punch you right in the mouth. I think this is where Kansas City belongs. If you took away the mystique of Kansas City, Pat Mahomes has been the worst of these 4 quarterbacks, and it's not really all that close.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid's the great innovator. That offense don't look real innovative right now.
Right.
It looks really Matt Nagy-ish.
Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, head-to-head right now. Who you got?
Say it again.
Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, head-to-head. You got Kansas City.
Neutral field?
Yeah.
I would take Kansas City, but it'd be close.
Mm-hmm. The Los Angeles Chargers.
I would take the Chiefs, but it's close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they blow anybody out, and they don't really have the talent now to pull you gave Pat the ball with 54 seconds left. Watch him go mater you down the field. I think you're very flawed.
Mm-hmm.
But they added Tyquan Thornton, so now they have another wide receiver that runs real, real fast and can't catch.
Yep. You also have the Pittsburgh Steelers left on that schedule. Other than that, the Kansas City Chiefs should steamroll everybody else on the rest of their schedule. So at absolute worst, this ends up being a 4-loss team.
The thing with the Chiefs is they have a lot of time to get it right. The problem is I think you're the 4th most talented team of the real honest-to-God contenders.
Mm-hmm. Number 3.
The Baltimore Ravens. But they lost to Pittsburgh. Uh-huh. Yeah, they did. You're not wrong there.
Mm-hmm. And Lamar Jackson
was terrible.
Played a terrible game.
And they had a chance to beat you, even all that notwithstanding.
Absolutely. Number 2.
The Buffalo Bills.
I mean, you handled business.
For sure.
Right? I mean, it was a 2-point game, 3-point game, late. Josh Allen scores that touchdown to really put it away. But they controlled that game.
Here is what Stephen Dow said. He still thinks the Ravens are better than the Bills. I'm not going to begrudge you that point because you beat the Heber-Jeebers out of there.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that would scare me if I was a Buffalo Bill fan is that I'm starting to see more careless with the football Josh Allen creep back in. And one of the reasons that you're sitting at 9-2 is because he did not do that. And I look down the stretch and go, man, you're not coming into the playoffs full bore because you got a lot of tough teams. Even if they're not good, they're tough.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there is a possibility. And you're going to call me crazy when I say this. I think there is a possibility that your AFC Championship game is Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. And for me, as someone that's getting real tired of watching Pat Mahomes every year after doing this with Tom Brady, I'm here for it.
Yep. And finally at number 1.
It couldn't be anybody else.
No.
The Detroit Lions. I don't really know how anybody could possibly have anybody in front of them right now. They're not just beating teams, they're killing teams.
Mm-hmm.
This is a buzzsaw that I don't think I've seen the likes of in a long time.
I mean, they look like a Power 5 team. Right? They look like one of these Power 5 teams from, the ACC. They kind of steamroll everybody during the regular season, and we'll see if they got what it takes when it comes playoff time.
They've played one competitive game in a month. One.
Mm-hmm.
In a month.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL doesn't work that way. And I got news for you. Probably got 2 more non-competitive games coming because they go Colts-Bears.
Yikes.
Then you get the Packers and the Bills, and then they end out with the Bears, 49ers, and Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Detroit Lions on a roll, staying at number 1 on the Week 12 power rankings here in the Sportsocracy. 4 to 6 this afternoon. Come on by and see us. We're going to head out of here and get down to the Ingalls in Candler, corner of Sand Hill Road and Smoky Park Highway, in the run-up here to the lighting of the Ingalls Giving Tree Monday, the 25th, at the Asheville Mall. But today, meet us over in Candler, 4 to 6 at the Sand Hill Road Ingalls. This is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
Have you taken advantage of your dental benefits for 2023? Make your appointment now to get in before December 31st at Summit Dental. Most dental insurance covers 2 cleanings and exams a year. Contact Summit Dental now to take full advantage of your plan. Summit Dental also has a full range of professional services, from crowns and fillings, implants, teeth whitening, and more. Plus, they're accepting new patients. Visit AshevilleSummitDental.com and schedule your appointment now to get in before the end of the year.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you? Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go up, you need a place where prices stay low. So shop in-store or online for quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love every day. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.